I have sometimes considered what it will take to kill a person in their bathtub. And one thing that seems most probable is familiarity. It usually is someone who knows the person quite well or is hired to kill them and paint a scene. Regardless, death in a bathtub isn't a good way to go. Welcome back to the Crime Lab channel. In today's video, we'll be looking at the story of the sisters who killed their mother in their bathtub. When people choose to take their baths, they never expect it to also be where they would die. The same could be said for the victim of this story. She never expected to lose her life in her bathtub. That said, let's get into the story. The victim of this story goes by Linda Anderson, or her Polish name, Anne Margaret Lebensnich. Linda raised her two daughters as a single mother after her husband had left. She was an alcoholic and also suffered from depression. At the time of her death, Linda had one job after being fired. In 2003, her two teenage daughters were 16 years old, Sandra, and 15-year-old Elizabeth. Since both girls were under 18 at the time of the murder, their identities were protected under Canadian law. The names Linda, Sandra, and Elizabeth, or Beth Anderson, are aliases created by journalist Bob Mitchell in an effort to protect their identities in the book he wrote about the murder. According to police reports, Sandra and Beth had become irritated by their mother wasting money on alcohol. They were also unhappy that their friends had better things like swimming pools and clothes. Sandra also mentioned a horrific childhood of physical and sexual abuse and a painfully sad life in the home of her alcoholic mother. Sandra said her story began with horrific details of physical abuse in the home with her mom's live-in boyfriend, Doug. Physically abusing Sandra's mom exasperated her alcoholism. She also said that she lived in a home where she thought dinner was for special occasions and that she and her sister were left alone to tend to their youngest brother. She said she confided in a priest at the summer Bible camp about her molestation when she was 12 years old. The priest instructed her to confront her alleged abuser and tell him to stop, or else she'd tell her mother. When Sandra did, the alleged tormentor was unafraid. According to Sandra, he called her bluff, adding she was disappointed that the priest did not report the abuse to the authorities. She also described her mother's alcoholism and said her mother drove drunk. She said her household lacked basic necessities and tried and failed to report the abuse to the Children's Aid Society. Because of their discontent, the sisters began to search on the internet for ways to kill their mother. Sandra said, "She's never going to stop drinking. She's going to die from this. I should just kill her, because it was like torture being trapped there." Sandra and Beth believed that they would be entitled to insurance money by killing their mother. This compensation, the sisters resolved, would be spent on a trip with their friends to Europe. The sister decided to drown Linda because they believed it would be fast and unspectacular. After formulating a murder plan, Sandra and Beth informed three of their friends, who encouraged the sisters and laughed at the idea of murdering Linda. During lunchtime on January 18, 2003, the sisters began giving their mother liquor in order to get her drunk. They planned to make her fully intoxicated so she could not resist their attack. They also gave her 6 Tylenol, 3 tablets containing codeine to slow her heartbeat. Sandra and Beth then waited for the drugs to work. While waiting, the sisters communicated with their friends online, one of whom ended their conversation with the phrase, "Well, good luck, wear gloves." Sandra and Beth filled the family bathtub with water and took Linda to the bathroom. Linda had difficulty getting into the bathtub because of the mixture of vodka and pills she had been given. After putting gloves on, Sandra and Beth gave their mother a massage. Within minutes, according to police reports, Sandra instructed her mother to lie on her stomach so that she could scrub her back. Sandra instantly pushed her mother's head down and did not let go. After 4 minutes, Sandra released her mother's head and found Linda to be dead. After killing their mother, Sandra and Beth went to a nearby restaurant with their friends where they celebrated their victory. Later that night, Sandra and Beth called 911 and informed them that they had found their mother lying in the bathtub. The operator told the girls to take their mother out of the bathtub and perform CPR. The sisters cried over the phone, telling the operator that Linda could not be resuscitated. When police arrived, they believed Sandra and Beth's story. The cause of death was determined to be drowning. Analysis of the deceased's bodily fluids disclosed very high levels of alcohol and drugs, including codeine and acetaminophen, which are the constituents of Tylenol 3. After her death, an autopsy revealed that Linda had only mild liver cirrhosis. Sandra now appreciates that her mother was a hard-working single parent who juggled 2 jobs to support her 3 children and her own studies. She said she was a beautiful person, very smart and loving. She was seriously traumatized. She was overwhelmed by addiction, with different kinds of abuse, and I didn't recognize that for what that was, she adds. The hate did blind me. I'm so sorry for my crime. I regret what happened, and every shred of my being, my soul. I've been through so much trauma, and what I did is by far the most painful thing I have ever had to live with. Linda's death was officially considered to be accidental until a young male went to the police and told them that one of the sisters had confessed to him at a party that she and her sister had killed their mother. Following his report, a car was provided to the young male friend, wired for audio and video by the police. Afterward, under the judicial authorization, each one of the sisters was recorded describing what she said was her role in her mother's death. The sisters were arrested on January 21, 2004, and were subsequently tried and sentenced to 10 years in prison for first-degree murder. Justice Bruce Duncan said they carried out the plan with chilling detachment. The 2 set out to commit the perfect crime, but instead they created the perfect prosecution. The case against them is overwhelming. It is probably the strongest case I have seen in over 30 years of prosecuting, defending, and judging criminal cases. The judge imposed a youth sentence of 6 years in custody and 4 years under community supervision instead of a youth as adult sentence that would have come with a life prison sentence against both siblings. The sisters were dubbed the Bathtub Girls by the media during their 8-week trial in the fall of 2005 for the murder of their mother. The sisters were separated and could not communicate with each other while in jail. Sandra was released in 2009, while Beth was released in 2010. 5 years later, Justice Bruce Duncan reviewed Beth's status as part of her mandatory annual review under Canada's youth laws. Crown Prosecutor Mike Cantlon is opposing her release and the release of her sister, who wanted to live in a Barrie halfway house and eventually study engineering at the University of Waterloo. To make his point concerning the younger sister, he referred to some of Dr. Jadine Cutler's comments made about her to her probation officer for a recent progress report. In that report, Dr. Cutler said Beth lies and manipulates until she gets what she wants. She also said there's no limit to what she will do to get her way. The older sister, Sandra, was released to the Barrie halfway house in 2009, while the younger sister, Beth, was released a year later on federal parole. The girl's father attempted to have Beth released earlier so she could complete her sentence under house arrest in their hometown, but that didn't work out for him. Since both Sandra and Beth were under 18 at the time of the murder, their identities were forever protected under Canadian law and were not to be revealed to the Canadian media. In 2015, it was reported that Sandra was studying engineering at university while Beth was married. She was a mother and was about to start law school. Linda Anderson's murder case was shown on the television series Deadly Women in 2010. Journalist Bob Mitchell wrote the book The Class Project: How to Kill a Mother, the true story of Canada's infamous Bathtub Girls in 2008. In 2014, the crime drama Perfect Sisters, based on the murder of Linda Anderson, went into limited release, and in 2015 it was released in the UK under the name Deadly Sisters. Thank you for watching this video. Hit us up in the comments section and give us a thumbs up if you liked the video. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more videos.